Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is Scorpio's reading for October 2021. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and like the video, hit subscribe for the channel, and the bell for post notifications. Let's get into this. Okay, so I'm using the Nature and Nurture Oracle deck by Marcella Krall, and the cards that came out for you this month, Scorpio, is the Skull card, the Egg card in reverse, the Owl card in reverse, and the Serpent card in reverse. The Serpent, the snake is actually a symbol for Scorpio, and it symbolizes regeneration. Like when the snake sheds its skin, it's like basically it's a rebirth process. It's like shedding your old layers of skin and like coming out brand new, starting over, starting fresh. But it's like the symbol of like the death and the rebirth process, which is associated with your sign. So what it looks like is like you're kind of like out of your element right now, right? There's something that is closing out, that is ending, that needs to die, that needs to stop. And it looks like there's some resistance on your part in doing that. You might be getting signs about this. You might be getting dreams. You might be having certain feelings and intuitive nudges about moving away from something or ending something. And it's like you're either ignoring your dreams, which don't do. Your dreams are trying to tell you something. It's trying to give you wisdom. It's trying to give you advice that you need for this next chapter, to help you heal and to move forward from this death process into your rebirth process. And with the rebirth card in the reverse, it looks like the rebirth is the part that you are resisting, or you're stuck in this phase where you're kind of like making yourself suffer through the death process because you're not like, letting go, right? So let's look at the tarot cards and see what they have to say. Okay, so off the top, I'm going to say these two cards, the Star card and the Page of Pentacles, actually showed up in the Libra reading, but in a different way. You might want to look at the Libra video. It could have some insight in there for you. But what it looks like is that, like, at this point in time, you were really hopeful that something is going to work out. And it feels like you're offering something to someone, and I don't know that they're necessarily taking it. This could be someone that has returned to your life recently, has like came back to you, and now it's like you're trying to restart something, and it's like you feel like that both of you are coming back into the situation with like new fresh eyes. You had your chance away from each other, but now you're like returning back to each other, and it's like you have like faith and hope that this situation is going to work out. I'm going to pull some more cards to see what else is there. Okay, so we have the Judgment card, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Four of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles, the Justice card in reverse, and the Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so there's a doubling down of the Four of Cups energy in this read, and it looks like even though something is being offered to you, you're ignoring it, right? You want to be careful not to overindulge or overspend this month. And you also want to kind of make it your business to learn a lesson or use the lesson that you've learned in the past regarding this current situation or regarding the return of someone. Right now, we're kind of like in the crux of Mercury retrograde. And with Mercury retrograde, people that have been out of our lives return back to our lives, and it's an opportunity to fix something or handle something in a different way, as opposed to the way that you handle it the first time, right? But what you don't want to do is go into the situation as though it's a brand new situation and there's no history. Look at the history of the situation and how it ended, and look at the way that it's returning back to you to determine whether or not this is something that you want to proceed with. This is really about using your judgment in a situation. No matter how hopeful you feel about it, you still want to use your judgment about it, right? Libra, we are in Libra season, and Mars in Libra. Like I said this in the Libra video. So again, like if you want to go back and listen to the Libra video, there's something about making a judgment call about something. And usually what happens with Libras is people consider Libras to be a bit indecisive, but it's kind of like, think about the justice system. And if you look at the card, the justice card has, the scales, right? And so with the scales, what happens is that the judge takes all the evidence into account and weighs it out and then makes a determination. But when that judge drops the gavel and makes that decision sticks. And I think that's something that you need to keep in mind for this month, especially with people that are returning back to you. This really does feel like a relationship situation, and you want to be sure, right, that if someone comes back to you, and this is a relationship that has ended, you don't want to continue to pursue the situation and not pay attention to other things that are in front of you because of familiarity. The Page of Pentacles in reverse is being clarified by the Five of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. I'm getting with these cards like a type of, it's like, okay, it's like if someone comes to you and they need something from you, like specifically they want to get money from you, right? And it's not that you don't have the money to give them, right? It's not like you don't have the money to loan them or whatever, but it might be a situation where you've done this in the past and they either didn't repay you, or they made you feel bad because you do have it to give, and it's like they're trying to make you feel like you're obligated to give this to them, and then it turns into this thing where now they're constantly borrowing money from you because they're in a bind, and now they become your responsibility. So there's that is something that is here. But really, if you look at the Five of Cups, it's like this thing where it's like you don't really want to give them this money, or you don't really want to part with this money. And with the Nine of Pentacles in reversed in the previous spread, you don't want to overspend. Like right now is not a time to be up here spending up all your money, right? And so I think you're being a little bit cognizant of that, and so you're kind of feeling like, okay, well, maybe they changed, or maybe this isn't them or anymore, and I can trust them. But I think, like I said, you need to pay attention to what your previous experiences have been with this particular person. And also, this could be someone doing this to you, right? Where they're kind of being like a little bit tight with you with money. They don't want to loan you money, or they're treating you funny because they don't want to loan you money. And this could be coming from your own place of lack, where you feel like you don't have enough, and you're not paying attention to the resources that are available to you, that are around you. And also, if there is like a sense of you just holding on tightly to the resources that you do have. But I think that there's a reason for that, right? And I think you need to sit with yourself to figure out what that reasoning is, right? Like now, like I said, now is not the time to be spending any extra money. It's also not the time to be starting new relationships with people during this period. Like you want to wait till after Mercury retrograde to start anything new. So now is the time really just to wait and watch. Hold on to your coins, okay? Don't be just loaning money out, giving money out. It's not the time for that. Okay, the Justice in reverse card is being clarified by another Justice in reverse and the Ten of Wands. Okay, so there's like a couple of things happening. So you kind of feel like overburdened by something that you feel is unfair, right? Like you're taking on the bulk of someone else's responsibility, particularly in a financial aspect. So you might be paying more than you originally bargained for something. or you're like, taking over a large responsibility of the bills or something, and it definitely is putting more burden on you financially than you anticipated. um, but also there's this sense that someone is not being 100% honest with you, and there's like a little bit of a pressure for you to do something, but at the same time you don't know the full story, right? So they're not being 100% honest with you. And if this is someone that has returned back into your life recently, I think you need to pump your brakes a little bit with how you proceed with them. Like I said, I don't think you should start anything until after Mercury retrograde has passed, but really until you get the full scope of the situation with this person. This person could be a Libra, they could be a Taurus, they could be a Virgo, or they could be a water sign. And if any of those signs are present right now that have recently returned into your life, I need you to question what their motivations are for coming back. Also, Scorpio, because this is like an energy reading, this could actually be something that you're doing. And so this is really asking for you to take full responsibility for your actions. If you've gotten yourself into some sort of financial jam, or a relationship that you no longer want to be in, or a relationship that you felt like you want to give it a second chance, because with the Eight of Cups in reverse, this looks like something that's like a second chance, like you're trying to do something a second time and it's like not working. You kind of need to really look at the full scope of the situation. With the Eight of Cups in reverse and the Four of Cups in reverse, there's like this real doubling down energy of missing information. Like, so there might be things that you're not aware of, but you are feeling it, right? Like you're feeling like something is off. And like, again, with the seer card that came out in the beginning of the reading, I think a lot of this information is being given to you in the form of like your dreams. If you're psychic, you might be getting like visions or just certain impressions about it, letting you know that something's not right. And you might be kind of like withdrawing from the situation because something just does not feel off to you. And if that is happening, you are 100% correct. There is like this element of some emotional fulfillment that has kind of been the catalyst for you moving into a situation that probably isn't that healthy for you. And it could be a situation, like I said, with someone that has returned from the past, or just a situation with someone that you love and care about and that you want to have, you want to build something with, right? But I think you need to kind of like pull back a little bit and kind of really like look at the full picture of the situation, because there is something that's being withheld from you, and there is a little bit of like an emotional thing here where you might be doing things or accepting behaviors from people because you have some type of emotional attachment to them, or you are kind of hoping that some type of emotional need that you have will be met by them. And so that is the reason why you're allowing certain things and certain behaviors to continue to happen. And I think this is the period in time where the universe is really trying to show you that this type of behaviors from people outside of you, or even in the way that you allow things to happen to you, it needs to kind of go away, right? This is the process of like the death and the rebirth process that you're going through, where you're really trying to align yourself with things that are for your higher good, and not allowing yourself to be drained by other people, or even putting yourself in a situation where, because you can't handle something, you kind of turn over the reins to someone else to take care of it, right? And these two cards are being clarified by the Eight of Swords, the Strength card, and the Three of Swords as well. And so I realized like this is probably like a painful situation for you, like realizing that the people that you care about don't care about you in the way that you care about them, or feeling like people are kind of like abandoning you in your time of need, right? But there is an element of you speaking about how you feel about the situation, and not in a way where you go from like 0 to 1,000, where you're not saying anything 1 second, but then you're like totally losing it on someone, right? But that you kind of like say what you need to say in a very diplomatic way, and also speak from the heart, because you're not a victim in the situation, right? And you're stronger than you realize that you are, or might think that you are. And really the strength comes from your ability to verbalize what you feel, what you need, what you see happening, and allowing that person to know the position that you're taking. But you might find that in the month of October, you might have like a little bit of like a dust up with someone. And I think at this point you should really consider, just trying to avoid the fight, but just still being very direct about the way that you feel about certain things. Moving on to the advice card. The first advice card is the Seer card that asks you to see beyond the current situation. The message is to look beyond your current situation and raise your vibration and focus on love. A true seer will help you see that your intentions can change, and therefore so can your future. The message of this card is to let the clairvoyant within you rise up so that you can see the way forward yourself with your spiritual eyes. Clairvoyance isn't just about predicting the future. It's about being able to see clearly enough to create your best future. You're being encouraged by your ancestral guides and angels to see beyond what you think is happening now. Don't allow your ego or doubts to play games with you. Instead of seeing yourself as stuck or lost, know that you're in an energetic holding space while the universe recalibrates a path that is more favorable for you. Angels of light are upgrading your energy so your experiences can be more enjoyable. You are moving towards something extremely uplifting and enlightening, so stay calm and keep your eyes on the prize. And again, this goes back to literally the Seer card in the very beginning, and it's literally saying that there are some things that you don't know, that you can't see, but you are getting the messages. And so if you just pay attention to the messages that you're getting, it will become clearer to you. The second card is the White Witch card that says, be the light. Take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from lower energy experiences. The White Witch card represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, and pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here she is joined by a horned owl, showing that she is willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but she's also willing to trust what she feels to be right within. With this card, you're being reminded of the goodness within. No matter what is happening to you or around you, you have a choice. Choose not to be pulled into dramas, bickering, or energies that are just going to limit your joy. If you are surrounded by people who are hostile towards you or someone else, or you are in a negative situation, perhaps in your workplace, you are being invited to be the light. You are an incredible person who can really bring light. So how can you change the energy? How can you direct the conversation to love? How can you protect yourself? How can you help the person that is being picked on? Or are you the one who is guilty of causing a drama? You will know the answers. Know also that you are being encouraged to shine the light you were born to share. The final advice card is the Hunter card that says to track down your fears and desires. Track down all your fearful thoughts and feelings. When you find them, you will find your desires too. The Hunter card is based on the Celtic god Cernunnos. He is the stag god of the wild and represents both the hunted and the hunter. Similarly, the hunter helps you connect with an energy that is both fearful and fearless. Your fears are the only things that are standing between you and what you desire at this time. So you have to come to face with them, as the hunter does with wild animals, and go beyond them. Instead of being hunted down by your fears or other feelings that you are being buried become the hunter. You are being given confidence and strength at this time. So use your power to make a difference. You are not here to cower away or live in the shadows. You are here to realize your fullest potential. But this can only occur when you step up and do what needs to be done. When this card arises, there can be an opportunity to face an aspect of your past or bring closure to a situation that has been haunting you. If you are a man or identify as male, this card represents your masculinity and the opportunity to know yourself more deeply. If you are a female or identify as a female, this card represents your capacity to be strong and powerful and overcome limitations. So there are a lot of things that kind of came up in the reading, and it looks like it can either be someone that is coming into your space, or this is something that you are doing. And like the card says, you will know what position you occupy in this story, right? But at the end of the day, you are not here to take on anyone else's burdens in this life. Like, that's not what you're here for. And you don't want to be out here fighting with any and everybody, but you do need to protect your energy in terms of giving too much of yourself to people, and just and making sure that you're not the person that's in the opposing position, right? So it can go either way. So I want to thank you for listening. I really hope that this reading helps you. Please feel free to leave a comment below so that I know how this works out in your own personal life and what you're going through right now. Again, subscribe, share the video with anyone that you feel like it could help them. And thank you. And I see you next month.